and today, on the 20th, we are starting to understand a little bit more about the planet and how it is affected by global warming. Our previous packet, we explored different cycles, different kinds of pollution, renewable resources. So for this week, we are going to focus on biomes. Specifically, the reason we're focusing on biomes is because the Earth has a majority different environments, which is what a biome is. And we need to understand biomes in order to understand how global warming affects them, or how even changing the hydrologic cycle or the sun cycle, wind cycle can affect them, and how pollution can affect them as well. So first, when you open up your packet, you're going to see our objective. Similar to our other objectives in previous packets, is to conduct research on different types of biomes using textual evidence. You will put your name right here, type it in, and these are some links I have found. Kids National Geographic you're familiar with. We also have Kids Britannica, Bio Expedition, Earth Eclipse, Blue Planet Biomes. These are all linked with information that is relevant to this packet. Some of them are more sophisticated than the others. So Kids National Geographic and Kids Britannica are more suited for younger grades, but these other websites also provide more scientific research, more numbers to work with, and they'll help you understand the characteristics of these biomes. And as you go down from these links, again, I'm going to say, you can use these links. I would advise using these links because these are ones I found specifically to help you conduct research. But if you want to find another link, remember you're going to copy and paste it, put it in the section you're working on. Some of you are familiar with this map. Those of you who were here just before quarantine, we did use this map before, but it was only black and white. Now you have one that is color-coded, and you should also be familiar with the key here. This map key tells you which color goes with which type of biome. It's okay if you don't understand these words, because as you go through the pack, you're going to find definitions and the types of environment those are. These colors show us where on the map they are. So here we have America. Here in the green section, you can see the Great Lakes. Lake Michigan is right there. It's the one that kind of looks like a quarter of a circle. And we are right next to Lake Michigan in Chicago. And we are a dark green, not the light green, which makes us a temperate deciduous forest. We're also quite close to grasslands. See? We are quite close to grasslands as well. In fact, Illinois, we are known for having a prairie grass, so there could be some overlap in our environment, but we're going to focus on the more prominent one, meaning the one that we're experiencing the most. Remember to use this, it will help you out. We read diagrams last week. We're still reading diagrams this week. Here we have our definition of a biome. A biome is defined as an environment that is suited for a certain life. For example, the ocean environment in which both fish and whales live in. They can only survive in that particular environment. So a biome is a type of ecosystem. Remember that word eco we learned pertaining to the natural world. A biome has a very specific set of ecosystems that are only suited for that particular biome, meaning you're going to see a different variety of animals and plants that live only in that biome. Here you're going to list the different types of environment only in the US. So we're not looking at Africa or Asia or Europe. We're looking strictly in this section here, the USA, or North America, if you want to call it that as well. We have a lot of different types of environments here. Here, another diagram you're familiar with for those of you who were here before the quarantine. This is a very interesting diagram because it can't not just be read across or up and down. Sometimes you have to mix and match. So on this side of the pyramid, from bottom to up, we get decreasing temperature. So the temperature starts out really hot and then gets colder and colder and colder and colder. Here, we have very specific vocabulary for this decrease in temperature. So in hot, across from hot, we have tropical, temperate, subarctic, Arctic, and Arctic. So again, using context here to define what that could mean. So if the coldest is at the top of the pyramid, we can assume that an Arctic environment is one that is extremely cold. Subarctic, we can see here what a subarctic environment looks like. A taiga, which is in your biome packet, so is tundra, has trees, but we can still see that while these trees are very tall, growing very well, much like the evergreens or pine trees we see here in Chicago, we still have ice in the background, whereas our tundra is very flat and we can see ice in the background as well. As we go farther down, we're temperate, meaning we're not too hot, we're not too cold, right? But this will vary depending on our next bar here that goes from wet to dry. So this means by decreasing moisture, for those of you who went into the hydrologic cycle, meaning less rainfall. So here in our temperate section, we have temperate forest, temperate grassland, which is a majority of what we can find here in the Midwest, all the way to the end of temperate and dry, which is desert. So you can see very few plants. We have a cactus there, whereas when we're in our wetter, more temperate sections, we have more greenery, trees, shrubbery, grass. And now we're here from really, really hot and really wet, which is a rainforest type place, like in South America. And we get to our mid-moisture, we have savanna. And then again, from decreasing moisture to dry, in the tropical section, desert, another kind of desert. And notice there's no cactus in this section. So you're going to have to read this maybe sometimes zigzagging it or going solely across. But this one is going to help you develop context and understanding of how your biomes rank on each other. Next is our actual biome section. So each of these, so the first section is cold biome. Each of these has that different subsection of the biome of the environment in that biome. So we're going to use the above images, as I said, as visual aids, but you should also be using your links listed here to understand these biomes. Here we have our cold biome. We will define these terms, Arctic and subarctic. You can look them up through Google. So you could always say a definition of subarctic. Relating to the region immediately south of the Arctic Circle. Again, that word Arctic. You can also ask where Arctic is. Where is the Arctic? If you understand that. The Arctic. Antarctica, Arctic polar region. It is a polar region. It is the northmost part of the Earth, so the North Pole. So if you don't understand your definitions, you can always say where is this and where is that to get your understanding. And again, as we've been doing before, using context to determine what something means. So here we have the word Arctic, very cold. We got some moisture, but not a lot. That can help us determine it. Same for subarctic. And again, as you do your research on your biomes, those words can come up, and you may very well find a different definition. So give me the general definition based on what it means. And here we have our list: taiga, tundra, Arctic. So Arctic is an actual place, not just a definition. You're going to have to find pictures, and then where would you most likely find it? So for the word taiga, for example, let's say when you say when you go to your links here, maybe you don't find an exact place to find a taiga. You can look on your map here, look for the color, see the word taiga, this red section here, and here. So you can also say taigas in North America. Let's look it up. Taigas in North America. A taiga, it says Canada, Alaska, and parts of the United States. So let's say you want to find a taiga in Canada then. Taiga in Canada. Or taiga forest in Canada. You can also say that because taigas can be considered forests. Canadian boreal forest. Find your location. You can write that in: Canadian boreal forest located in Canada. Same for tundra and Arctic. And subtic as well. But we're not done yet. You're going to find a plant for each of these different biomes, a picture, and then again where you most likely find it. So let's say you find a certain kind of tree that grows in a taiga, find a specific location where that taiga is. So again, we go to Canadian boreal forest. We can see there's a bunch of plants here in these images. We could find a certain tree that grows in that taiga. And animals as well. Again, very specific to that location. Next, same concept here. We are temperate biomes, temperate forest, deciduous forest, coniferous forest, and grassland. You're going to find a picture and a specific location where you can find these. Don't just say like North America. We can get more specific. Like I got very specific when I said North American taiga. I chose Canada as a specific location, and I said taiga forest or taiga in Canada. You can find these locations. Same concept here. Find the specific place, a specific plant, a picture, and where you find it. Same for the animal. And same for our desert, arid, and tropical biomes. These words, arid and tropical, they come with these additional prefixes, semi and sub. This will be covered in our PowerPoint videos, but make sure you put in these definitions. You can also look them up as well. It's important that we consider what is beneath. So if I have semi-arid and subtropical, like we can see here, semi-arid. If the word arid means, what does the word arid mean? Let's look it up. Arid definition. Arid, a land or a climate having little or no rain. So little or no rain. If it's semi-arid, if it's only half arid, that means there could be more rain. So it's very important to consider that, because if there's some more rain than an arid place, we probably have different plant life and different types of animals. Same for subtropical. So tropical environment definition finds a climate with characteristics of the tropics. So it's near the equator or the middle of the planet. So if it's subtropical, it's probably below or above the equator. So not necessarily in an extremely tropical location, but close to it. So be very careful when you're looking at these prefixes, sub and semi. Again, you're going to find certain plants, and notice with arid, with a desert, you may find a plant. Some very arid locations may have a very specific kind of cactus or shrub, but you may not find one. Doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Still try to find one. If you can't find one, you can do. There's a bunch of sand. Semi-arid locations are likely to have plants, as well as tropical and subtropical locations, because they have an abundance of moisture and heat, which plants love. Same thing for animals. In an arid location, you'd be surprised. There's actually quite a variety of animals that can survive in extremely dry locations. Lungfish, there's something called the stone toad. So don't be lazy in your research. Don't slack on it. Really push to find it. And lastly, this one may be a little trickier. Ocean biomes. We have 5 different kinds of oceans: Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, Southern Ocean, and Arctic Ocean. So I did include a link here that is specific towards the oceans. The Bio Expedition Ocean Biome one, this link right here, does give you some information on the different types of oceans. However, each ocean, you may have to find your own research on this. So again, you're going to copy and paste. So let's say I want facts on the Atlantic Ocean. Again, don't use Wikipedia. Here is Encyclopedia Britannica. It's not the Kids Britannica, but it's sufficient. We can find very specific data